Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about what makes a hitter effective, and we're going to be covering three types of hitters. This is going to be on base hitters, who are going to be guys that get on base at a higher rate, hit for a higher batting average, having a higher on base percentage. Power hitters who hit for power, extra base hits, in particular home runs, and drive guys in, and contact hitters who are going to have high batting averages, decently high slugging percentages, mostly from doubles and triples, and move guys around the base paths. So today we're going to start out with our on-base hitters, which I have filtered by players with 3 stars or less, at least 55 I, avoid Ks, and contact. We're going to be talking about some of these guys. So first up is Luis Arias, who's pretty much the best on-base hitter in OOTP. While he is only 3 stars overall, he's near impossible to get from the Twins, so not necessarily the greatest trade option in a live game, but he is obviously incredible if you can manage to acquire him. Next up, we've got Yandy Diaz, who is a much more reasonably acquirable on-base leadoff type hitter. He's got 65 I and 60 contact, actually, so he surpasses our parameters. Not bad gap and power, too, so a very effective hitter in this regard, and certainly not expensive. Tony Kemp, kind of a similar build, just a little less contact, a little less power, although he obviously is the superior defender. Alex Verdugo is a nice profile as well. He's got pretty much across the board solid stuff to go for him, and not bad defense as well. Matt Beatty's the kind of guy you might turn to if you need someone real cheap to play like a corner outfield spot, or potentially a corner infield spot if you feel comfortable with him at third base. And he's the kind of guy who's probably on the weaker side of this player archetype, but he could bat maybe in the lower portion of your lineup and be reasonably effective at getting on base. So next up, we got our power hitters. And for this group, I'm going to be disabling the avoid Ks minimum and adding a power minimum of 65. So these are some of the better cheap power hitters of the game. A lot of them are going to look pretty similar. You're going to see a lot of guys like Josh Bell, generally high home run power and I, contact and gap power is decently high. Avoid K isn't super high. Now, Josh Bell is notably the best hitter of this bunch, but everyone looks approximately like this. And if you're in need of a cheap power hitter, someone who can drive up a high OPS, get on base, and make sure guys get in, you're going to want players like Josh Bell. Mitch Haniger, again, just kind of in that same mold. Austin Meadows, same mold. Lamonte Wade Jr., same mold. Almost all of these value power hitters look the same, and it's pretty much going to be a similar effect, regardless of who you pick up. And last, we're going to be removing the power minimum and adding a gap power minimum, in addition to increasing our contact minimum for the contact hitters. What does an effective contact hitter look like? Once again, we have Luis Arias. Because of his insanely high avoid Ks and contact, he's going to be putting in a lot of balls to play and also have a high BABIP. Those two things combined will lead to a very high batting average. Although avoid Ks is not what it used to be in terms of incredibly useful for player effectiveness. We actually have a lot of overlap here, but guys like, for example, Miles Straw. Actually, I think I have an I. That's the problem. The I minimum is still on, and the avoid Ks is off. Okay, here we go. Guys like Michael Brantley are going to be more what we're looking at here, with higher avoid Ks and higher contact. So once again, we have that BABIP and avoid Ks combination leading to higher batting averages and gap power, which also plays off avoid Ks to be more effective. There aren't too many guys who are just pure contact hitters, but we do have some players like, if I can find him, Jose Iglesias, who's somewhat on that road. He's got pretty much no home run power or I, so a lot of events for him are going to be batted balls. He's not taking many away in the early phases with walks, home runs, or strikeouts, so a zero true outcomes hitter, if you will. Very rare in the modern MLB, but if you're looking for a team that moves a lot of guys around the base paths, this can be a middle of the order hitter on some teams, or at least a better version of this profile. Anyways, in addition to having good hitters, it's also important to know what makes a dominant hitter. And another thing I'm just going to point out here is Jose Iglesias is a good contact hitter, but he's also a strong fielder. And we had guys earlier like Nicky Lopez, same kind of deal. So it's generally the type of thing where at premium defensive positions, you're just going to look for guys who are good hitters and exceptional fielders. So Nicky Lopez, if you get him to play second base or shortstop for you, it's going to generally work out pretty well. And you're going to want your dominant hitters more likely at positions where you will focus on hitting. So the three things that are going to be the most important in OATP 23 for determining a truly dominant hitter are going to be your eye, your avoid, or not your avoid Ks, my bad, your contact, and your power. So I'm going to set all those to 65 or higher. Oops, I forgot to remove the minimum on, or the maximum on potential. And we have two hitters here who unsurprisingly come out as the most dominant hitters in baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Juan Soto. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is absolutely going to shred the ball. Incredible bat-to-ball skills with really high contact and home run power, really strong eye, so he'll get on base at a really strong clip as an absolute bare minimum to his skill set with that eye. He won't strike out very much. That avoid Ks will hold up against even the best pitchers enough for him to really do his damage, which is going to come with that home run power. 75 is very high on that. And of course, 70 contact is a big deal as well. So you don't necessarily need the 65, 65, 65 trinity, but it's a big deal. These two guys, far and away the best hitters in the game, in my opinion. Soto's obviously got such a ridiculous eye. He's just going to be on base all the time. His BABIP is through the roof. He's going to be constantly getting hits on balls in play, which he should have a decent number of. And he will hit enough home runs to be a damaging hitter in that respect as well. Not to mention he's got solid corner outfield defense to go with it. But ultimately, if you can find a hitter like this, then you're in excellent shape. Even just a 60-60-60, frankly. We'll take a quick look at the players with that, and there should be a decent number of them. Even just guys like this is a big deal. So guys like Taylor Ward are impactful batters in the middle of your order. Obviously, we've got guys like Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna popping up now. Mike Trout, with that insane power, is going to be able to do big time damage as you would expect of Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani now showing up on this list just a little weaker because of his avoid Ks. But this is absolutely a type of profile that can be a dominant hitter. Guys like Carlos Correa now showing up. This is definitely one of the better shortstops in the game all around. Xander Bogaerts, a very good hitting infielder. We've got Alex Bregman, who's really good at getting on base. A lot of different profiles here, but ultimately they all share a few things in common. They've got really good eye, power, and contact, or BABIP generally, which is the primary fuel for being a truly dominant hitter in the OATP 23 engine. Anyways, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know and I will get back to you. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I will see you on the next one.